Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you. Extended Enterprise Learning Module. This is typically not here regularly because this is not a learning model, but these are complete different requirements. Before we talk about learning, and then we will compare that learning to this one, that we will be able to understand. Workday learning. What is going to do with Workday learning? In this case, all the employees who are in Workday system will be users for Workday learning model. We typically call them as learners. Learners where they will be taking their courses. They will be taking their courses. Learning administrator will be assigning the assignments and accordingly they will be completing and they'll be getting learning credits. That's the objective of learning model. Here, we need something like when employee is within Workday, they have learners. They have learners here. When that employee has employee in Workday, they are able to access learning module and they are called as learners. But employee is in Workday. Who gets employee? ID. Employee is in Workday. Who gets employee is a Workday learner. We typically call them as the learners, where they will be able to take courses, get credits. This is typically what we see in Workday learning. But what we see in extended learning is extended enterprise learning. What we generally see is employee is not in Workday. Who gets extended? Sorry, who gets extended? Enterprise Learning ID. Who gets courses? Who gets courses? Who gets credits? Understood. You understood this one, yes. I will be explaining something, but you understood this line. They are not in Workday system, but through extended enterprise learning module, they will be able to take the courses. Here within Workday learning, when Workday system have employees and those employees will be taking Workday learning. They will be users of Workday learning when they have Workday learning as a module in Workday system. But when we don't have employees in Workday and when we wanted them to take learning from Workday is what they take through extended enterprise learning module.
How that will happen is we need to place a request with Workday. Recently, I think 2 or 3 years back, I worked for one of the customers. They had a kind of similar requirement only. Who will configure that, Amit? Workday team will be configuring that. The team will be configuring that, and learning administrator will be taking care of extended learners as well as Workday learners. Both they will be taking care of assigning learning assignments. Extended learners you call people who are not part of Workday but still they're taking courses in Workday. They're called as extended learners, and people who are part of Workday and they're taking courses, they're called as learners. Now, how this will happen is, and I'll give you a kind of a realistic scenario that I've seen in my experience. I think 2 or 3 years back, I was working for one of the government customer who was using Workday as their internal HRA system and got implemented Workday Learning, and that Workday was live only for US employees who are all in the US. Workday was live for only US employees, not for international. They had offices in Canada. They had offices in Mexico, Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, India. In all these locations, they had offices, but Workday system was not live in all these locations. Only Workday was living US. All the employees who are part of US are able to access Workday Learning and were able to take all the learning courses, the compliance courses, the kind of external courses that they wanted to take. They were using Workday Learning System as a system, and they were able to take courses, and learning administrator use assigned courses through campaigns, through other models. Workday Learning Administrator used to assign these courses. When they had a plan that we are investing on Workday Learning and we are again investing on SAP Success Factors as a learning system for international workers. Now let's expire this list, terminate success factors as a learning system and have this Workday Learning to all the international workers from India, from Washington, from Canada, from Mexico, for all international. Let's make all the international workers to access Workday Learning System. They have reached out to Workday. They have reached out to Workday asking that we all live with Workday system for US country but not live with other countries. We have a plan in next 2 to 3 years, but now we don't want it to invest again for learning, licensed or success factors. We wanted to use Workday as a learning system for all our for all our international workers. Workday came with a kind of approach saying that you can do that. We have an option for specifically these kinds of requirements. We have a model called Extended Enterprise Learning Model. We have a model. Through this model, your international workers can get into this and they should be able to access your learning system. They'll not be able to access anything, but they'll be able to access only learning related stuff. They're not employees in Workday, they're only extended learners in Workday. They're just, if you're seeing my screen there, you can see if I'm going to the employee profile. I can see all the information. I can see employee contact information, benefits, payroll performance. All this information this employee is able to see. The reason why this employee is able to see, Jacqueline is able to see, is because she's an employee in Workday system. She's an engineer, all the modules of Workday system. That is the reason why she's able to see all the. She's able to access learning. She's able to access performance. She's able to access benefits, payroll, core HR, everything she's able to access. But that has come into extended enterprise learning, learner. who is not involved in Workday will not be able to see anything of this because that person is not an employee. You know that person is not in the system. That is the reason why that person will not be able to access any information, even job information, summary, anything that employee will not be able to see. At least this kind of view also that person will not have because that person is not an employee in the system. That person will be a kind of extended enterprise learner who will just have access to take courses and complete the courses. Other than that, that employee will not have anything. They cannot do anything in the system. They can only take learning things. This is a kind of model in a Workday suggests or recommends to customers when they have a kind of similar kind of requirements to work with the external enterprise learning module and make them utilize their international workers to get into Workday and take Workday learning. We call employees as external enterprise learners. And in Workday, we typically call this employee is there. This employee has a team. She will be reporting to manager. Reporting to one manager. If I go to her manager's profile, go back to summary. She does not have manager. Generally, she should have personal professional talent. You should be seeing. I will take one employee, for example. I went to this employee. I went to the employee profile and this employee's manager is Jacqueline. And this employee's manager is Jacqueline. He should be reporting to Jacqueline and Jacqueline will be managing this employee. If I go to our chat, you should be seeing the same. This is generally a kind of our chart. We'll generally see. This is a training tenant. You might be not seeing something accurate. But in general scenario, this will be the scenario. You can see many managers are there. This one you can see Stephen Peters, who is managing HR service department, is managing all these people. He is managing all these people. Similarly, in the extended enterprise learning model, they may be creating extended enterprise affiliations. Extend enterprise affiliations. What are the affiliations are? Let's say the same scenario that I said one of the customers is Live News, but internationally they are not Live. They have their operations in Canada, India, Australia, Singapore, and Thailand, and all other countries. When they plan to have extended enterprise implemented across international locations, for each country, there will be a kind of extended enterprise application. Let's say Canada. We have Canada affiliation. We can take this as a kind of summary. Probably for any customer that you're getting interviewed. This information, no one will be aware because this model is very rare. Understanding this model and people having this knowledge will be very rare. You having this knowledge, when someone asked you, have you worked on an external enterprise model? You can say, I know all the concepts of external enterprise learning module because I got trained in that module. I know everything, you can say. This is Canada affiliation and India affiliation. And as you can see, Australia affiliation. What is this affiliation? Is Canada affiliation. We have all Canada members. From this affiliation, we'll be having all the Canada members, similarly all India and similarly all Australians. Each affiliation will have their own team members. When you own team members, team members, and this is employees section. All the employees in Canada, let's say Canada in Canada, we have office in Toronto. All the employees in Toronto will be part of Canada affiliation. And India, we have offices in Delhi, Mumbai, kind of things. All the India employees will be from different locations, will be part of India affiliation, and similarly Australia. For each country, will have different affiliations and will be allocating courses based on these affiliations for India employees. They should be a kind of compliance courses related to India. Regulatory kind of things will be assigning specific courses to India employees. India affiliation. Similarly for Canada, similarly for Australia, for every country can have a different kind of course assignments where they can go and complete that. Amit, I have a question here. These extended enterprise employees taking a course, completing a course, will that completion will be tracked in any way? Do we include their completion in reports? For extended employees. You are asking for a second or no? Extended employee. They are taking course and completing courses. They are taking courses and all they have learned. Also, we can be tracked. What they are in progress, similarly as how you can see. This is seeing what the screen we go to. Jacqueline's profile. To go to Jacqueline's profile. She is able to see all the learnings here. All the learnings here she is able to do. You can see the same information in external enterprise learning screen also. The same information, only learning. If you cannot see all these things, you cannot see achievements. All the things you will not see, you only see learning in external enterprise learner profile. Because they're only learners, they cannot access anything. They can only see learning in learning space. They will only have learning and they can see only learning related completions, and all learning administration can see all the in progress, completed and not started schedules, and accordingly they can take required action. The other way is we can create reports that pulls up all the information, what they have completed, what they have not completed, we can report. In that way, learning administrator can track the completions of external enterprise learning section. We can also create separate dashboards that gives all the external enterprise learner completions. You go to Learning Administrator page. You go to External Learning page. Not External Learning Administrator page. This Learning Administrator page. Learning Administrator page. You should be finding if this student does not have an external learning module. But in case, if this student has external learning module, you're seeing few management campaigns date. Similarly, you should be seeing another column with extended enterprise learning, and you can see view learners, view affiliations, view external learner completions. You should be finding another column like this. You should be finding when you view learners, you'll be able to find all the extended enterprise learners, view affiliations. I've shown you Canada affiliation India. How many affiliations are there? You should be able to see that many affiliations. When you click on each affiliation, you should be finding that country employee section. When I say completed employees, those are nothing but external enterprise learners. In that way, Learning Administrator can access everything from the dashboard. They should be able to access employees as well as external learners, information, their completions, all the data they should be able to access. That is nothing but external interface learning module. Everything will be similar. Employee, external device learner can take courses and learning administrator can assign courses. Everything will be same as how you do in learning, but only the thing is the module is different. Module is different and for an employee. For an employee should be having employee ID. You should be having employee ID. You can see here this employee is there. But for external enterprise learners, you will not have an employee ID because that person is not an employee in the system. No, she'll not find employee. That person will have extended enterprise. Learner ID, they'll have learner ID. That is what external enterprise learning module talks about. This kind of module requirements will not see mostly for all the customers, very rarely for limited customers. You can see where they have operations in all international countries, but they are only live with Workday, only in specific country, and they are not live with other international countries. They might have this kind of needs, even though they does not. Most of the customers will not be aware, but probably since now we are aware of this. When you're attending any kind of interviews for learning things, when you see similar kind of cases, you can propose this solution. Instead of investing your money on multiple learning systems, we have a provision going for extended enterprise learning module for international, where they can use Workday Learning as external enterprise learning system and employees who are part of Workday, they can still be learners in Workday, that we can have common learning system where we can track their completions. If you're going with multiple learning systems, they can have blended courses also. Anything, classroom course, whatever we have in Workday, blended courses, digital courses and anything program, anything you can do. If it is a kind of for only international employees, if you can create a blended course, let's say India, you have, for India, there is in-person session that you wanted to plan on and date. You'll be creating a blended course for that one and you'll be sending a kind of announcement in India and New Delhi. We have a course is going on. Interested candidates can enroll. People will be enrolling and during that particular day will be instructor. Will be having in-person session with it. But it's when learning that student is on visit of multiple locations, they can create blended courses and in their visit they can have all the participants for that particular location. In-person session. That is also something in my previous organization. They used to do this only any from us. If people are coming for India visit, they used to visit our office and they used to plan a kind of blended course session and make us be part of the system. We have the requirement in my current LMS, but we don't have action to contact you. We don't even have option to create a blended course. Not blended course. Extended enterprise learning or extended enterprise. Probably Workday has this as a kind of option. I know that you can utilize. You can propose to your organization. We have Workday, which can be a kind of common learning system for both international and domestic employees. That would be only few terms. Extra enterprise, learner is nothing, but who is a learner? Affiliation is nothing, but a kind of organization which hold that, look at that country, employees you can think of. And then will be as I told. Now you have an affiliation for each country. Have an affiliation. Each country. For each affiliation, you can have an affiliation manager. Affiliation manager you can have, or for all the affiliations, you can have one affiliation manager, or for each individual affiliation, you can have affiliation manager who will be typically called as a learning administrator. In both the learning, we call them as a learning administrator. In external enterprise learning model, we call them as an affiliation manager. Affiliation manager, who will be taking care of course assignments, managing learning stuff, all the things they will be taking care of. That is all about external enterprise learning model. We have to request the Workday consultant saying we have the request for this country and these are the list of users we want to add it into. What extended enterprise module? You need to reach out to Workday saying that we have India, all India, Thailand and Malaysia as a kind of our locations. But we are live in Asia. We wanted to have all these three countries should be part of Workday learning through external enterprise learning model that we can assign courses from a single system and track their progress in a single system rather than multiple systems. We can track everything single system. That you need to please request and Workday implementation team who will be implementing Workday for your organization. They can take care of implementing or if it is already implemented. Workday can. This is not a huge project. This is just, making external enterprise learning model enable in your tenant and have some kind of configurations made. It's not a huge one. Probably very less. Of course, it will take. You can have someone from Workday to take care of this instead of having implement part of to implement this. They can have some specific Workday consultant to do this. That's about external enterprise learning module. Do you have any questions on this? It's very. I understand what is extended enterprise learning module. Affiliation. Affiliation is nothing, but who manages that particular affiliation? Employees. Extended enterprise affiliations are nothing, but if you're having, I told you, Canada, India, you can take that as an example. And extended enterprise learning. There is a different security when you implement extended enterprise learning module. You will be providing access to learners on external enterprise learning model that they can access learning system. That's a kind of different access. You need to grant that they can access because they're not employees in the system. They need to only have access to extended enterprise learning module. There will be different security groups for that. You will be providing access to those security groups for international employees that they can be. They can become external enterprise learners. This is a small concept but will make a good benefit for the customers for managing domestic and international countries with Workday. That is on extended running module, which should be clear for you. And outside of this, what else we can discuss today is we can see something called expiration and expiration duration kind of things. When you mark learning courses as a expiration rate. We can do the learnings. You have this as a kind of a still course. And we'll create a course to the course if you wanted to set any kind of experimentation date. Learning record is nothing but a kind of course. After getting this task, the recent expiration date on learning records, you go to this one. I will click this page. If you see that proposed expiration date for a learning record. Currently for this thing, Jacqueline has got enrolled. Jacqueline entered in this course, but we are making expiration sometime 30th from this. We are able to complete the set of our learning, completed expiration and click on this course. Proposed expiration date is showing us 30th. If you can see her enrollment she has completed, she has enrolled on 4/11/22, that is yesterday, and her expiration of date for this enrollment is 30. She has enrolled on 11, but her expiration date would be on 30th. The completion status. What we are seeing on the screen is enrollment completion, not course completion. Enrollment, not course completion. Just employee has enrolled into the course. Enrollment into the course, but enrollment whatever the expiration date that you're making. The learning enrollment expiration you're making is 30th. After 30th, you cannot enroll into this course. That particular course, you're setting a kind of expiration date. Till 30th employee can enroll. After 30th cannot be enrolled. I thought the course will get expired. This is the nomination or enrollment. This is only for enrollment. Expiration on learning records is nothing but which will let learners to enroll within that expiration date, and after that it will not enroll. You can also set expiration date at course level also, if you go to the course. Where is Learning Admin? Learning Actions. Where is Learning Admin? Are they able to find Learning Admin? I need to be as a Learning Admin. You can see here are the expiration rules are there now. This is for completing the course. Configure when your learners can retain. Please set up the time period when you retain a window that you can start your expiration rule for this course when you wanted to have this course to be expired. You can set your expiration. You can configure that. And also you can also define some rules. Advanced Learning Expiration Rule for Workers. I'm taking string 1. You can make this rule. You can go to the rule. You can group instances here. When I say group, you can when employee is equal to manager or when employee is equal to director. This will apply. For all directors, if you want to set this to be expired, you can create a rule. For all managers, if you wanted to have this to be expired, you can create that rule. Let's say this is assumed this is a manager. And for this group, if you wanted to expire it on 1st May, you can do that. For a different group of people, you can set expiry rules that those employees will not be able to access this course after the particular date. You have an option to define expiration rules for a different set of employees. This is one of the unique feature. You might not see this kind of feature in any learning system. That's how we know you can set expiration date for the learning courses, either for group of employees or set of employees. Yes, at course level you can do a course level how you can do. You can access a task called expiration on learning record. We have to select that learning content. You need to select your learning content for which course that you want to set, that you need to set up that, and on the course level you can set the expiration date. That's on expiration date. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.